I'm happy to see you all here. And tonight we're going to do something that combines science, which cooking does anyway, but we're going to combine something, we're going to do something that combines our normal science experiment with what we're going to cook. And we'll get to that in a little while. But first, I'm going to show you what I did here in the studio this week, the last couple of days, as a matter of fact. Let me switch cameras. Camera. And those outlets took me a couple of days to do, actually, because I didn't buy quite enough wire the first time around. And I don't know why this keeps switching off. Anyway, this studio, I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again now. This studio was the first house that my wife and I lived in when we came here to Puerto Rico for a visit almost 5 years ago. This house is in the backyard of her mother's house. So we lived here for about 7, 8, 9 months before we bought our house, which is across the street. This kitchen is where I first made my very first video. So if you want to see what it looks like before it was ever the studio, take a look at Big Tall Biscuits, which is on my playlist. Then there was a glass table here, and I stood over there, and my wife stood on this side with a camera, and we made a biscuit video. And it's still one of my most watched videos. It's got almost 10,000 views. Okay, so, and in those days too, there was a tiny apartment-sized stove. You could cook one thing at a time, not 3 pies like this one will. And this one can turn this place into a sauna in about 1.5 minutes too. So that doesn't help. Speaking of saunas, I'm hoping you're not hearing the fan noise tonight. Usually it sits over there and it blows at me this way. Tonight, it's behind me. And it's blowing on my back, and it's a whole lot cooler. Really? How come you didn't send me a message? Well, I don't have the message either. This says I'm making sound. Okay, let's try a different microphone. Apparently, I'm having technical difficulties and don't have sound. So let's check out the source on this and see what's going on. That's the right microphone. You sure your phone's turned up? Okay then. All right, audio. It says I've got sound. Audio capture. You can't imagine why I don't have sound because everything says it's working. Yeah, the receiver's on. I've got sound in here.
Becky said you have sound.
Huh?
Becky said that you have sound. Maybe it's my phone.
Okay. If somebody could hit the chat and tell me whether or not I've got sound, I'd appreciate it because, okay, there we go. Good. All right. Well, that was off to a good start. All right. I don't like it when things happen like that. When I really think that I have everything under control, and then all of a sudden I find out that something's not working. Okay. So hi, Cheryl. Hi, Zach. Are you new here, Zach? If you are, welcome. If you're not, then welcome this time. Okay, I'm glad you don't hear the fan. All right, so what we're going to make tonight is an old-fashioned candy. We're going to make peanut brittle, and you don't actually need to make peanut brittle. You could make it with just about any kind of nut you wanted to, like cashew brittle sounds good. Hazelnut cashew sounds exceptional. Or you can leave the nuts out entirely. If you do that, then what you're making is honeycomb candy. Well, I'm glad you caught this one, Zach. So what we're going to do is we've got our little stove and our pan. And so we're going to start making our peanut brittle with 2 cups of sugar. This is just plain old white sugar. We're going to dump it in our pan, and maybe then I'll stop knocking the pan down. If you're getting any kind of echo, be sure you let me know that too, because my headphones are on over there and I can hear them slightly. All right, that was a 1/2 cup of water, and then we're just going to mix this together until the sugar pretty much dissolves. I don't know how much dissolving a 1/2 cup of water is going to do to 2 cups of sugar, but and my other issue tonight is my picture keeps changing. I do too, Cheryl. I made peanut brittle a few months ago, made a video on it, and that's why I decided to do it tonight. There's a reaction in this that is pretty surprising and kind of fun. Okay, so now we've got 2 cups of sugar and a 1/2 cup of water. And we're going to add to this, actually, I think we can turn the heat on at this point. We want the heat at medium. We don't want it terribly high, because if it gets hot too fast, it's a problem. This much sugar can burn pretty easily. And then we're going to add 1 cup of light corn syrup. Now, I know some people don't like corn syrup, but it's a required ingredient for peanut brittle, as far as I know. I don't know what else you could substitute for it. And we're going to stir that all up. And one of the things that you kind of need to make peanut brittle is a candy thermometer. And I have one right here. And what you need is a straight-sided pan like this one. And put your candy thermometer on it so that it's in the liquid but does not go to the bottom of the pan. And this time we're shooting for 250 degrees. And that could take a minute. At this point, you don't really need to stir it constantly. I have the habit anytime I've got some sugar-based liquid on the stove, I just stir it constantly, but that's pretty boring. Hi, Linda. And hi, Rebecca, too. I didn't say hi to you. It says just stir it occasionally, but like I say, you can use pretty much any nut you want to with this. We're going to be spreading this into a cookie sheet with parchment paper on it, and I'm trying something different. Last time I made this, when I made the video, it got it cooled too fast, and it was very hard to spread. And I had to use more than one pan. And this time, I now have a big enough pan so that it should work with just one pan. And it's a heavy pan. I might need my glasses here before we get done. It's a heavy pan, so it should stay warm for a while. And that hopefully will help me spread this out to the thickness we want, which is probably about 1/4 of an inch or so. Maybe you could go a little thicker, but you really wouldn't want to go less than that. I'm not sure the peanuts would let you go less than that. Cheryl, it's actually not as hot in here as it usually is. It's only 93.4. Ooh, we're almost at 200 degrees. Very close to 200 degrees, as a matter of fact. I'm starting to feel a little catching on the bottom, so I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit more. Yeah, only. Last week it was 99.7. Okay, we're at 200 degrees. And at this point in time, I believe we add our peanuts. It calls for salted roasted peanuts, and I'm using salted dry roasted peanuts, which is what I made it with last time, and it was really good. So that's what we're doing this time. I'm trying to follow my instructions here, but my instructions are going a little slow at this point in time, so I'm waiting. I don't want to do anything in the wrong order, and the last time I made this was over a year ago, I think. This little stove is pretty good. I have an electric single burner, and that's what I tried to use last time, and it wouldn't get it hot enough. And I ended up moving over to my big kitchen stove where I didn't have the camera. So I wasn't very happy with that. Okay, like I said, I'm watching my instructions roll up. Oh, we want 250. I thought we wanted 200. Once it gets to 250, that's when we add the peanuts, and that's when we also stir constantly. But I'm going to stir constantly now anyway, because like I say, I can feel it dragging on the bottom of the pan. The only thing I don't like about this little burner is the pan support. It's kind of crappy, and the pan wants to slide, and you really don't want a pan full of hot stuff sliding. This is boiling. I guess you can see that. Turn the heat down a little bit more. We're at 225. Yeah, that calms the boiling down to the point where it's not a constant foam, at least. I have done 317 videos. And I got to admit, I've gotten pretty comfortable doing it. I could stand here and talk in front of a camera without too much difficulty at all until things start going downhill, and then I get a little flustered. But it's fun. Cooking should be fun. Making videos should be fun. So making them at the same time should really be fun. We're getting there. We're at about 230. Sometime soon, I'm going to make a fun video because I'm going to make a video of making a chocolate milkshake. While I'm just stirring this, and this is boring, I'm going to show you something else. I'll explain it first. I've signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. Now, if you know me like Linda does, and my wife and Becky do, you know I do not drink coffee. So it isn't about buying me a coffee to drink. What it is a simple way for someone to help support if they feel like, I don't know if it blanked on your end, but it went black on mine for a fraction of a second. So I'm going to show you that right now. Looking at this. It was a really nice day in Puerto Rico today, though I thought it was going to rain. It got a little cloudy, and it usually does rain in the afternoon if it's going to rain. So this afternoon, I really thought we were going to see some rain, but it didn't. We're at about 240. You guys all stop talking, or do I have a problem? We're making peanut brittle tonight. And we're getting close to the next stage. You haven't missed much yet. I added water and sugar and corn syrup, and I've been pretty much stirring it ever since. But don't worry, the exciting part is still to come. I'm glad you can now. My wife told me that she couldn't hear me, but then her sister said she could. So I think it might have been my wife's phone. And you know how I feel about iPhones. So, and hers is obviously an iPhone. We've got about less than 10 degrees to go before this is up to the right temperature to add these peanuts. I wish this was a little more exciting so that, you could watch this with some excitement. I'm excited to have it because I'm the one who eats it. So close. Thank you. That was not difficult to put up there, but it took several tries to get it looking close to the right size. Did you also notice that the overhead camera is magnified a lot? Over the last time we did this, and nobody could see what I was doing. A few more seconds and we're going to be at 250 degrees. And I really don't know how critical that is. I think more critical is the 300 degrees that we're shooting for after we add the peanuts. Too bad you're not here. You could help me eat it instead of being up there in cold Maine. We are at 250. I'm dumping peanuts. This, like I said before, this is 2 cups of peanuts. They're dry roasted, and that thickened it up a lot. One of the things that surprised me last time was how light this was in color. Because my memory of when I was a kid was that peanut butter was a darker color than it is now. Or than this turns out. I don't know about this now because I don't buy it anymore. I guess I probably didn't buy it then. I was a pretty little kid. That cooled it off a few degrees, so it's going to take a minute to catch up. Now we need to stir it constantly at this point, which is bumping the thermometer around a lot. I brought a water over here tonight so that I could take a sip every once in a while to lubricate my voice, but I drank it. I wish you were here. For those that don't know, Wordsmith Linda is my sister. And every once in a while, like I think every other year maybe, Linda pays us a visit, and she's always fun to have here. Yeah, but I was clever this week, Cheryl. I actually put the water in a little cooler and put ice in the little cooler so that I wouldn't have 90-degree water. And it worked well enough so I drank all the water already. I've been over here roughly since, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock. Took a break to go home and feed the dogs. But then I came back, and unlike every other week where it's been a mad rush to get everything working, this week it just went together really well. But I will admit that I spent a lot of evenings at home with another computer working up that's too hot. Working up the things like that little buy me a coffee thing that didn't really work as well as it should have. And hello, Solange. Can you hear me now, honey? But every night I've been working on different things, like the feature of the week video, which is coming up right after this featured small channel of the week. We're at 260 or so. At least according to this, the coffee. Oh, did it play like a video? Because on mine, I either looked away too long or it didn't play. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's just a picture that said thank you with a barcode, a QR code, right? It actually starts out with just my caricature and the barcode, QR code. I don't know why I keep saying barcode. And then it says thank you, basically, like it ends up. That's actually, what you saw was actually the end one. So I don't know why it didn't play properly. Ooh, almost 275. We're getting there. Now, I got to admit, I didn't time this beforehand because I didn't think I needed 2 batches of peanut brittle. So I didn't do this in advance. I could have, but my doctor told me to lay off the sugar a little bit. So can't do 2 batches because I would eat them both. Same reason I haven't been making many pies lately. Pie is my favorite thing in the world. And I would just, if I made one and it didn't disappear pretty quickly with other people eating it, I would eat it all. And it would take me a while. Like a day and a half. Now, pumpkin pie disappears in a day. I can really put away pumpkin pie. In fact, I started a tradition in my family when my kids were quite small of making 4 pumpkin pies the evening before Thanksgiving, so that we would have one for breakfast. And now I guess my kids actually do that at their houses with their kids. I'm getting tired of stirring. I'm afraid you mean cool as in, wow, that's cool? Or cool as in not reading accurately? We can. Oh, good. I just spilled all my vanilla. We can actually check and see what this temperature really is with this thermometer. It just hit 260 and still going. Slowed way down though. It's up to 264. So it's pretty close to what the other one is saying. It's supposed to be a teaspoon and a half of vanilla in here, and I'm going to have to measure it out again because I just spilled it. $2.75. This little island, by the way, started life out as an IKEA coffee table. When I decided I needed an island over here, I couldn't figure out how I was going to economically come up with an island. So I got to looking at IKEA online, and this coffee table was $60. It's the perfect size. It's the color I wanted. So I dashed over to IKEA and I bought it. And I bought a 4x4 at Home Depot to make these longer legs out of. And the guy with the saw, excuse me, the guy with the saw at Home Depot measured it wrong. So I had to extend the legs with little extensions, really, little boxes that I made under the legs, because I couldn't make them all the length they were supposed to be, because he was supposed to cut it in half at 6 feet, and he cut it at 6.5 feet. So one side was 5.5 feet, so there was no way to get 2 legs of 36 or close to that inches out of the second side. We're at about 380, and my arm's going to drop off pretty soon. This is getting kind of thick and hard to stir. Now, my plan tonight was to record this at the same time so that I could edit that out as a video instead of trying to edit the recording that YouTube does while this is playing, because their editor is the only one you can use for that, and their editor stinks. And however, I didn't put a SD card in the computer, so it isn't recording. Are you guys fascinated so you're not talking, or you're just not talking? My problem here is I cannot leave this unattended long enough to get the vanilla out of the cabinet. I don't know if you noticed, but I got a haircut this week. It's quite a bit shorter than I intended for it to be. I intended shorter, not short. But it is short. But I think it's cooler. My own sister's half watching another show. You think so? I don't really like it. My wife likes it. So I guess that's really what counts, because I can't see it unless I look in a mirror, and I tend to avoid mirrors since about 15 years ago when I started looking really old. Oh, we're at about 290 degrees now. I'm wondering if the butane is running low. My flame is a little small. Okay, that's about 300 degrees. So what we're going to do now is shut the heat off. Then we're going to grab that thermometer out of there. And we're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to stir in, hang on a minute, half a tablespoon of vanilla, which is a teaspoon and a half. And I'll try not to spill it this time. And now we're going to add the exciting part. This is the part that you really want to see. I'll put it back up here where it's in focus with the... Okay, watch this when I dump the baking soda in. Well, it's not doing it as visually as I thought it would. What it does, you can see it. It foams. Last time I did this, it went crazy foaming. Now you can see it. The color changed. It's really foaming now. And I believe that's all stirred in. So we'll get the stove out of the way. And we'll bring our cookie sheet up here. Now it's not really, well, it's hotter than I wanted it to be, but it's not super hot. I'm going to let it sit for just a couple of seconds, I think. Yeah, now you can see the texture in this. All right, now we're going to dump it in our pan. And once it's in the pan, then we want to let it sit for about a half hour to cool before we break it up. But when that happens, it'll be pretty obvious anyway. Okay, so I'm using an offset spatula. You see this stuff doesn't like to spread, which is why I decided I would try it in a warm pan. I'm curious how hot this pan is. It feels pretty warm. I think this is about 3/8 of an inch thick. I don't think it's anywhere near the 1/4 inch that I thought we might want, but it looks like it's going to be a good thickness just the same. It's a whole lot of candy for one guy. I don't know. Hi, Anissa. I don't know. This is actually the first time I tried using a spatula. They say you can do it with a spoon, but that seemed to me to be kind of difficult, so I didn't even try it. But even though this pan is, well, it's not as hot as I thought. It says it's 107. Feels pretty warm on the fingers, though. Okay, I think we're going to leave that like that. That's going to be fun to clean. Hopefully it just breaks off of there. I used unsalted butter. I did think about adding some salt, actually, because I like sweet and salty. Like, my favorite treat at the movie theater is their popcorn and Junior Mints. That's a good combination to get when you go to the movies. Okay. Now I'm sweating a little bit over this hot pan. That's only 95.2 now. All right, we're going to set this aside and get it out of the way as soon as I figure out where I'm going to set it. I guess maybe it's going to stay right there. It's not really doing anything bad. But I do think I will lift it up onto a wire rack to get some air underneath it so it'll cool off a little bit faster, because now we want it to cool. All right. Let's move on to one of my favorite features. My new feature is Small Channel of the Week. And I started doing that because I wanted to be able to highlight other small channels. They are food-related channels. They don't they don't necessarily make the same foods I do. Like tonight is actually a vegan. And she makes some cookies that I think I'd like to try. So without talking too much more, let me move on and show you that part of the show.
If banana bread and chocolate chip cookies had a baby, it would be this soft cookie right here. These banana tahini chocolate chip cookies are filled with rich tahini, sweet banana and maple syrup, as well as warm chocolate chips kind of bursting throughout it. It's so good. And they're vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, and absolutely delicious. Hi, I'm Melanie with Inspired Epicurean, and today we are making a delicious soft cookie, banana tahini chocolate chip cookies. If you're new here, we share vegan recipes and sustainability tips for a greener, more vibrant future.
I kind of ended that a little too soon because I forgot that I put those links on the end, but if anybody wants them, I will bring them back. And speaking of bringing back, I have to click on my video again because it keeps going away. Every time I change the camera angle, the whatever I've got on screen for YouTube goes away. And YouTube is where I'm watching the chat. Okay. Like I was saying, I wanted to highlight other people's channels so that they get more exposure and you get to meet some new people and see some new channel ideas. Next week is the guy that was going to be our guest this week, but then got too busy and couldn't make it, which is when I decided I would try the small channel of the week idea. But he's going to be featured next week. And then every week we're going to have somebody different. And I've watched a couple of her videos. I really like them. The woman that we had last week, Chippa by the Dozen, I liked her channel. And there's a million channels out there to watch. So I'm going to do my part to get you introduced to them. I think it got warmer. Nope, it cooled off. It's 94.9. Okay, let's see. Trying to think if there's something else I wanted to say. I think what is a tahini? I don't know that. Is that really a something? Because I have bananas on the tree in my backyard and I'm looking for things to make with them. So those cookies are a possibility. I made banana bread this week. It's a magical banana bread. It disappears in about a day. And I made a banana cream pie for last night, I guess. That just disappeared in less time than that. So if you do check out any of these featured channels, I'd really appreciate it if you would make a comment on their channel telling them that you saw them here. That'll help me get more people who want to be featured. Okay, so I forgot to tell you, last night, so I think it was Friday night I made that pie. Last night I made a pork roast with a brown sugar, honey, garlic glaze. It was really good. I made it in the air fryer. So I think next week we're going to revisit that, and I'll show you how I made it, and I get to have another pork roast, and it really, really, really was good. We had rice pilaf with it, and the glaze. I had some left in the pan, and I put some of that in a little bit of the rice just to see what it would taste like. It was really good too. Okay, so I should mention if you have a YouTube video and you would like to be featured on the, or at least like to apply to be featured on the small channel of the week, You can email me at elgringobaker@gmail.com, and I'll put that up at the end of the video so you can see it. And you can use that anytime, actually, that you want to communicate with me. Of course, most of you that are here know how to get in touch with me anyway, but we got a couple of new people. Blue Polar, where, if I can ask, where are you? Okay. That's just about it. So anybody got any questions or anything? I'm reading chat here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. So if nobody has anything else to say, I'm out of things to say. Oh yeah, that's good. I can. I will find a low carb creator and I will feature them. Unless they make really crappy videos, in which case I won't. Because any one of the channels that I feature, I want to be a quality channel. That's why I don't feature myself. So as I said, Linda, I'm just an airplane ride away, and if you come here, we'll make all the peanut brittle you want, because this isn't going to last. It's not going to be around very long. Yeah, I'm open to any suggestion for anything on this show. If you want low carb creators, great. If you want somebody who cooks some really weird stuff like roadkill, we'll see if we can find that for you too. And one of these days, I'll get back to making some more pies. Matter of fact, I got one planned for next week, I think. I've got a 4-berry pie with apples in it that I'm going to be making for someone who's going to be here. Yeah, I didn't think anybody really wanted any roadkill creators. I just threw that in there because, that's the way my mind works. What the heck is Celtic sea salt? Why is that different? If our 60 Minutes watchers, that's good. I do. I have pretty much stopped using regular salt, but the danger in that apparently is that you can run out of iodine in your blood because there's not too many sources of it, and you need it. So iodized salt is not a bad thing, but they put too many other chemicals in it. I got to tell you, you guys wish you had some of this peanut brittle. It is pretty good. Oh, is it stuck to that spatula? Ooh. I'm having a whole lot of trouble getting one little piece off the spatula. So there it is. Yeah, I'll probably be boiling it. I'm curious what the bottom of this looks like because this pan has a texture. Oh my God, that's good. Guys, jealous? But now you know how to make it. But Cheryl, it's not very low carb, which I suppose might be why you haven't made it. Well, I really hope that you guys enjoyed the show. I enjoy doing these, and I do hope to get better and better at them. And with that, I think I'm going to play the end tile and say goodnight to everyone. So let me find out where it is here. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you have fun watching me eat sweet stuff. Thanks for coming. You guys make it all worth doing. I really appreciate that you come here and watch the lives. So good night, everybody. Thanks, Zach. We'll see you next week. Yeah, probably will. Have some ice cream. We tried a new kind of ice cream yesterday, by the way. Guava ice cream. I've never seen it before. Guava is really popular here, but I never saw it. I hit that button a little sooner than I wanted to. So anyway, good night, everybody.
On the snowy hills where the pine trees stand tall, to a busy town where the Coquis call.